What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you all having a great day. It is finally Friday. This week felt like it was gonna take years to end. Um, Let me just get into this episode right now. My head feels like it is about to explode. What the hell is going on this show? I don't know, but I'm more confused on today's episode than I was a week ago. Um, some shit just something in the milk ain't clean. I just want to put that out there. Something is not right. I don't know what it is. Um, it's just a lot of craziness. So let me just get into this. I don't feel bad for Nell when Carly was, basically trying to put her on Front Street in front of Jocelyn. I don't feel bad for Nell at all because you know what? Nell, I just felt like what she did was the lowest of the low. Like she knew how Morgan died. She was there for all of it. And she still went ahead with her plan of revenge during that family's darkest hour. And she expects Carly to forgive her and be cordial with her. Hell no. You use that family's grief. Like their son died in an explosion. His body was never recovered. And you saw how devastating that was for that family. And you still went ahead with your plan and used it against them. That is the lowest of the low. How evil can you be? I would expect that from like a Cassadine or, somebody evil like that. You know what I mean? But it's like you did all of this for some bogus ass lie that your father told you. Like that goes to show how corrupt evil you are. And I don't blame Carly for being mad at her. Carly has done some fucked up shit in her life too, but damn, this just kind of takes the cake. Like that's some unforgivable shit. Um, I just can't blame Carly for it. You know what I mean? So, and Michael, in my opinion, I'm just real disappointed in Michael right now. Like, very disappointed in this kid. Like, he's a Quartermain. He's a Quartermain by blood. He's a Corinthos by adoption, and yet you're so naive and so dumb. Just naive and stupid. It's like, here's the thing. Michael has a good heart. I'll give him that. Michael's a good person. But the Quartermains are good people too. They got a good heart too. But Ned and they're not dumb. Ned is a good person. Like he's a giving person. But Ned wouldn't be this stupid. Ned always has an ace up his sleeve, as does all the Quartermains. They always know when somebody feeding them some bullshit. And even if they suspect something, they're not dumb enough to just go along with what people say. They check the shit out. Michael need to check this shit out because he keeps trying to. I feel like he's trying to convince himself that he believes Nell. Because if you don't want to hear what Sonny and Carly have to say, why would you go to Sonny's restaurant and then bring up Nell? Sonny didn't really bring up Nell to you. Sonny just asked you how you're doing. He didn't say, "Oh, tell me about the situation with you and Nell." He never brought up Nell. You brought up Nell. So the whole time he's talking to Sonny at the restaurant about Nell, it sounded to me like he's trying to convince himself Nell is innocent. You're not trying to convince Sonny or Carly or anybody. You're trying to convince yourself. Because in the back of his mind, he knows that they're right. All they're not saying Nell is guilty. That's not what Sonny and Carly are saying. But when you hear something like that she had a fiance nobody ever knew about and he died and the family and the cops suspect foul play, you're not gonna look into that? If I was, and she lied to Michael about it. The only reason she told Michael the truth was because Carly forced it out of her. That's the only reason she told. If it wasn't for that, I doubt she probably ever would have. And Michael doesn't want to look into it, you got to be crazy as hell. Michael is the type of dummy that would marry a chick who came from absolutely nothing. He would marry her without a prenup. That's how stupid he is. It's just like you're naive. Like I said, he's a good person. He has a good heart, but he's naive. And I feel like it's time. If you're this naive in your personal life, then that means you're naive in business. So if I was Ned, I would be gearing up to take ELQ away from him because I would not want somebody like that running my family's company. It's his family too, but he's not ready to lead that company. Like no, hell no. No, 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 no. See, Edward was a good person sometimes. Like, you know how Edward was. But he had a good heart. You know, he believed in family and stuff like that. But Edward was far from dumb. Edward was far from stupid. Like, he loved Tracy and stuff like that. But he knew he couldn't really trust Tracy. He knew that. He always knew that. He knew Tracy was a schemer. He know that. That's why he protected ELQ all these years. He knew about her secret, taking the money from Gino Solito. And remember, Tracy tried to beg for Edward's help. She tried to tell Edward about the whole situation, but Edward didn't. Edward already knew. Edward knew. He knew for years. He just never told her that he knew. See, that's what I'm talking about. You have to be smart. See, Edward was never naive. Ned is not naive. So why is Michael acting so dense? I understand that he wants to believe her. That's his girlfriend. I get it, but stop being dense. At least look into it. That's all Sonny and Carly are saying. Hire a PI. Just look into the shit. That way it puts everybody's mind at ease. I think that's a fair thing to do. He doesn't have to tell Nell that he's looking into it. Do it discreetly. That's all you gotta do. And then on top of that, he gonna sit there and buy her apartment building. I said, this guy. Uh, he done bought her apartment building so she could stay in her apartment. I knew he was gonna do that. That was typical. That was the hell. Stevie Wonder could see that coming. I knew it. I said, watch, he gonna buy the building. I was hoping, and I'm glad he didn't use ELQ money to do it. He used his own money. I said, thank God, because that would have just been another strike against him and another argument as to why Ned needs to take over. But I just feel like it's time for him to step down as CEO. Because, like I said, if you're this naive in life, you're naive in business. And that's not good for a CEO. Because in business, you have to be cutthroat. And you cannot be this naive and foolish. So I think it's time. Um, as far as this whole did Nell do it or not, honestly, I don't think she really did. But if it were me, I would look into it though. You have to be sure. You don't know. You have to be sure. But I have a theory on this. I feel like you know how Zach's sister texted Carly and wanted to meet up with her. I have a feeling that if I think his sister or somebody in that family probably killed him and they wanted that money. They wanted that inheritance. And when Nell got the inheritance, the plan was to get her out the way by setting her up for his murder. That way she couldn't inherit and they could, or the sister could, whoever set this up. But I have a feeling that this is definitely probably a setup because it sounds a little fishy. Because all the evidence pretty much kind of points to Nell, but it's still circumstantial at best. And I think that the family or whoever was counting on the evidence, the circumstantial evidence, to put her ass in prison so they can get their hands on that money. Trust me, family does crazy shit for the money. It's all about the money. It's all it is. It's all it's about. But yeah, it could be a setup. I don't know, but if I was Michael, look into it, fool. Um, so anyway, Franco. You know what? I'll talk about that last because there's a lot to go into with that. I get to that. The thing with Jocelyn and her and Oscar, she's worried about how much information Milo be giving Sonny and Carly about her and Oscar or whatever. Milo's not there to spy on them. He's just there to babysit Jocelyn for the time being. Um, I want to know more about Oscar. I want to know more about this kid because I don't know a damn thing about this boy. And from what I've seen in some spoilers, it seems like he has a connection to Port Charles or a particular person. They didn't say who the person was, but I don't know. Some people think that he's Brenda Barrett's son. I don't think Vanessa Marcel is coming back to the show because I heard recently that her father passed away. I think a few days ago to a week ago. I think he passed away. So I don't think she's coming back to the show anytime soon. And I remember her son name was Alec, unless she changed it. And his last name, if Oscar was her son, then his last name would be Barrett. And I don't think I think they mentioned his last name and it didn't say Barrett. It didn't say Barrett. So I don't think that he's Brenda's kid. Um, so anyway, moving on from that shit. Christina took Jake and Danny to go see Jason, Billy Miller. To go see him. They were hoping, by being there, talking to him, and Jake brought him a picture that he would wake up, but they had no such luck. Um, Franco is still hell bent on this picture. Franco wants to know who that boy is in the picture. He told Elizabeth about it, and I can understand why Franco would want to know his past. I mean, who wouldn't? You know what I mean? Like, if you were adopted or whatever, you would want to know who you're related to. You're going to want to know your origins, your background. Of course you would. So I don't blame him in that aspect. I was just getting a little pissed that the writers were trying to use this as a way to make him a bigger part of Jason's life. I mean, at the end of the day, he's Heather Weber's kid. He's related to Jason by blood anyway because that's his cousin. Why do you have to up the ante and try to make him his brother? Like, cousin isn't good enough. Let's just leave it at the cousin. Um, I think that's enough. But I mean, hell, we all got some fucked up family members. Don't act like you don't. We all got at least one person in the family that's not right. And Franco is one of those family members in Jason's family. One of a few. That has a screw loose. But anyway, so he wants to get in touch. He's trying to get in touch with Betsy, his adopted mother. She not picking up the phone. So Betsy was at some cabin looking place or whatever. I think it looked like the same cabin that Valentine took Charlotte. Remember when he tried to run with her to Niagara Falls a few months ago? That looked like the same cabin because they reused the sets. Um, so while she was on the phone with Heather, she was on the phone with Heather Weber. Heather, I guess, was on the phone telling her, "Do not tell Franco the truth," or whatever. So once she got off the phone with Heather, Franco was actually right behind her. He heard the entire conversation. So now he know that she hiding something, and he wants to know what. So she admitted that there was a twin, and Franco thought it was his twin, but she corrected him and said it was a twin, but it's not his twin brother. He doesn't have a brother. Well, from Heather's side, he doesn't have a twin brother. Well, he actually does have two brothers actually from Heather and Scott, you know. But that's he never had a twin is what she was trying to tell him. I think she alluded to the fact that Jason has a twin, not Franco. So it still doesn't answer the fucking question who the boy is in the picture with Jason. I mean, is that Jason in the picture with Franco? Because Franco, sure, that's him as a kid in that picture. So who's the other boy? They still haven't really answered that question. So I'm gathering that when she said a twin, she was talking about Billy Miller's character Jason and Steve Burton's Jason are the twins. That would actually explain a lot. It kind of would. So you mean to tell me Billy Miller's Jason was the one who was in that clinic in New York, not Steve Burton's Jason. So Steve Burton's Jason must have been in Russia the entire time. And Billy Miller's Jason was at the clinic. He's the one that Robin saved. That's why he came back to Port Charles with Jason's old face. That would explain that. Um, so I don't know. Like all of this seems a little confusing. I mean, from the way Betsy was talking, it seems like that's where they're going with this. The tale of two Jasons. So basically, Billy Miller is the twin of the real Jason Morgan. That's kind of what is leading. It seems like it's going. Some people are saying that Steve Burton was coming back as Nicholas Cassadine, but that wouldn't even make sense because why would Nicholas come back with Jason's face, his old face? It makes no sense. And on top of that, when Ava was talking with him, and she kept asking him what was his name and write down his name or whatever so that way she know who he is and she could probably get word back to his family. All he did was wrote down a phone number. If that was Nicholas, he would have wrote down a name or something. Why write down just a simple number? I think the number that Steve Burton wrote down was Sam's number. I think that's the number he probably wrote down was probably Sam. Um, and then by the end, Billy Miller's Jason woke up. He opened his eyes. This type of thing is kind of confusing. It really is. Like I don't know what direction they're going. I mean, from right now, from the way Betsy talked, that's the way I summed it up. That's the direction that they're going. That Billy Miller is the real Jason's twin. So Susan Moore probably really did have twins. I mean, Scott Baldwin might know something because Scott was married to her at some point. He was married to Jason's biological mother. Um, so maybe Scott knows more than what he says. Who knows? But I don't understand Heather though. If Franco doesn't have a twin, and none of this is about Franco, why was she so hell bent and content? Why are her and Betsy so hell bent on keeping this truth away from Franco? How does this affect Franco if he's not the twin and this other person is the twin of Jason? How does that affect Franco? So why are they trying to keep the truth from Franco? All of this don't really make sense to me. I'm trying to, this is like a big ass game of Clue. Who's the real Jason? Who's related to the real Jason? Who's the twin? I don't fucking know at this point. Like, it's kind of confusing. Like, I'm gonna need more details on this because this shit is like Pandora's box at this point. Like, I don't know who, and what is what. Who's the mama? Who the daddy? Who the uncle? Who the brother? Who the sister? Who I don't know. It's like, damn, this shit will blow your mind right now. Like, I like a storyline like this, but this shit is like, what? Like, all of this is kind of confusing. Like, when you break it down, because you don't know what real direction they're going into. You don't really know. It's like, I don't know. Is Steve Burton the real Jason? Is he playing somebody new? Is Billy Miller the real Jason? Is he gonna be playing a different character? It's like it's up in the goddamn air at this point. Um. So anyway, I don't know, but yeah. Let me know what you think in the comments, man, about this episode. This shit was a little nuts. But yeah, hit that comment button. Let me know what you think. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. I will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Don't party too hard. And see you on Monday. Have a great day.